Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. We got one MLB postseason game. A lot of hockey games today. I'm going to be patient on hockey and wait for the points to build up. I scanned all the games. I only saw 1 point-related riddle, and we'll get to that. So let's talk baseball real quick, hockey really fast, and then get to our NFL Week 16 early week decode where we look at the surface level stuff. So, Justin Verlander for the second time in his career is pitching on short rest. And what's interesting about the terminology of short rest, which they use in MLB, it equals 56, like how the Astros are on 56 losses right now. You know, Verlander's getting up there in years. World Series so many years ago, Bumgarner kept pitching on short rest and dominating. When it's all scripted, you know, that they can make Verlander look like he's in his prime. So, anyhow, what stands out about this game right away is the start time. 4:07 p.m. on the West Coast, but it's 7:07 p.m. local, 7:07 Eastern, like 77. Houston equals 77. Again, these awkward start times typically point to the team that will win. Media is huge on Houston closing it out today, which is very possible because, as we talked about yesterday, if Houston lost yesterday, today they'd have the chance to close it out 3-1, and we've been documenting 31 with Houston forever, especially this year in the MLB season. Houston and 31, riddles that hit left and right. So, let's just go through everything on the board because there is a possibility the Rays could upset. The media is really selling this like it's already in the bag for Houston. You know, oftentimes when the media's putting out that kind of programming, it is meant to dupe the bettors. So the narrative for the Rays today is if the Rays beat Verlander on short rest, they'd get their 99th win of the season. Verlander equals 99. Possible. If the Astros lost today, they'd get their 57th loss of the season on the 57 date numerology. They'd stay at 47 away wins for the season. Tampa Bay equals 47. And if Houston does lose this game, which I'm not saying they're going to, I fully expect them to close it out back in Houston. The ALCS, again, it looked like it was Yankees and Astros. We documented this at the beginning of July. They were the two teams in the AL with 57 wins at the All-Star break. World Series equals 57. So that's something to think about, too. If the Astros did lose, they'd go into that ALCS championship on 57 losses. So, again, the Astros close it out tonight. They'll advance 3-1. Houston equals 31 in the most pure cipher, but Houston's one of those cities where in reverse, it's just one number off. Houston sums to 32 as well. So worst case scenario for Houston, I think they close it out 3-2, but 31 is definitely the more dominant number. The argument for the Rays to even the series at 2-2 is that Tampa Bay equals 79, the 22nd prime. So far, there's been 25 runs scored in the series. Tampa Bay equals 25. Tampa Bay won their first game, putting up 10 runs yesterday. I'm wondering if we could see 6 or 7 runs scored just because I could see the symbolism in that. Houston equals 31 and 32. There's some other possibilities in there, but that was just the first thought that came to my head. I wonder if we see a 6 or 7 run game. The Rays, their next loss in the postseason is 20. Astros equals 20 in the most pure cipher. The narrative for the Rays to come back and win the series is to give the Astros their 52nd playoff loss. Tampa Bay Rays does have the 52 connection. Personally, I would love to see that because I don't think there's any way the Rays would beat the Yankees. There is a narrative for the Astros to get past the Yankees. But again, we documented a whole lot for the Yankees this year. A whole lot of things that synced up with the start of the World Series date. Start of the season to end. So Verlander, he's 22 and 6 for the season. Remember, he did that 226 days after his birthday. If he lost today, he would be 22 and 7. That's kind of like pi. 22 divided by 7 gives you pi. Those pi rituals in sports, they do hit a lot. Verlander's 14 and 7 in the postseason for his career. Fitting, special number there. World Series is 147. Houston Astros is 147. If he won today, he'd get his 15th win in the postseason. Tampa Bay is 47, the 15th prime. If he won, he'd be 15 and 7, kind of like 157, the 37th prime. We have 37 date numerology today. If he lost or got a no decision, he'd stay on 14 wins. Tampa Bay Rays 43, the 14th prime. He's 1-0 versus Tampa Bay in the postseason. That was the first game of this series. And again, he's pitching on short rest, which equals 56. He helped the Astros win the World Series in their 56th season. He's trying to bring back those postseason heroics, helping them close out this series. He made some comment about like how if they don't get it done tonight, the postseason crazy. You just never know what could happen. Again, I would love to see the Rays win the series. I do not think that's going to happen though, but I would love it. So the guy on the mound, again, out of the 4 baseball games yesterday, the riddle that looked the best was the Yankees, going for 16 straight in the Target Field 53, the 16th prime. You had Louis on the mound. Louis equals 16. Yankees got it done yesterday. Today, the first name of the pitcher, Diego, for the Rays is 31. Stands out right away because, again, it's that big Houston number. Houston could close it out 3-1 tonight. The Astros manager, A.J. Hinch, he could get his 21st career win today and stay on 15 postseason losses. You got 21 date numerology. Tampa Bay, again, equals 47, the 15th prime. If he stayed on those 15. Today's his 147th day of his age. Houston Astros 147. Kevin Cash, the manager for the Rays, he's 2-2 in the postseason. Tampa Bay 79, the 22nd prime. Houston is 32. If he won today, he'd advance to become 3-2, and then he would likely Houston and the Astros have hit 31 so much this year. Keep in mind the Yankees won 5-1 last night. Houston Astros 51. That very well could have been pointing to today, saying after tomorrow it'll be set. That'll be the matchup. Or the Yankees could get some extra rest if the Rays pull out one more game. The Yankees would love that. But for Kevin Cash, today's his 307th day of his age, which is the 63rd prime, and Rays is 63. So that's also interesting. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Good to hear from you. Know you just started that live. Got a quick thing to say because I got to get back to work. But I noticed that, so when I put in Atlanta for all the ciphers I was looking at, because I'm just decoding the crap out of it. I need them to win for this parlay with Dodgers. I'm really, really confident in Dodgers. They basically been coded all year, so all I need is Braves. I think Dodgers is a lock in my opinion. But one of the things I realized is, even though this is a little fringe and kind of sort of out there, since the Bacon ciphers, I heard this from who's that guy, Dan Behrendt or something like that. He said how it's the year of the pig, so the Francis Bacon ciphers, bacon like pig, are important this year. I noticed that Atlanta is 239 in the reverse Francis Bacon.
Do you mean Atlanta Falcons?
Oh, no, I'm talking about for the Braves.
Okay. Oh, well, I know Atlanta Falcons is 239. Okay, Atlanta in another cipher is 239. That's interesting.
So, yeah, there you go. So, Atlanta, the reverse Bacon cipher, and, of course, I just said how the Bacon ciphers are important this year. And then that's the 52nd prime, as you know. And It starts at 5:02. Okay? Another thing I noticed is that from Tisha B'Av, which...
But don't forget, man. Again, don't forget, we already documented this once in the series. Start time at 5:02. St. Louis won Game 1 with that start time. St. Louis is 25 if you look at it as a reflection. What are you calling in about right now? I'm talking about today's games.
Yeah, so same thing. Yeah, I'm talking about the same thing.
You're not talking about today's games. Actually, in fact, if you go back and listen to the tape, your opening statement, I don't think anybody followed what you said. What's the point you're trying to make right now?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm making a point for the next game. So it is for tomorrow, so I probably should have called in tomorrow. I did realize that just now. Point I'm trying to make, basically, is... that the Braves should get it done. There's another thing I'm thinking about for the fact that Tisha B'Av and...
All right, hey, man, just call me back tomorrow. I'm going to move on. See you, dude. The reason I'm getting rid of that caller is because he's not making good points, and he's just saying, I think they're going to get it done. I don't just want people calling in and just spouting off opinion. Like, show me what you're talking about. Dan Behrendt, that's his name. But anyway, I'm trying to stay focused here. If you got to call in what I'm talking about now. I'm trying to change the culture of the call-ins. Too much disorganization, too many different thoughts. Call in about what I'm talking about. And when you call in, be organized and make clear, concise points. Okay. So anyway, what I wrote for the conclusion here, I'm saying I'll be shocked if the ALCS isn't Yankees and Astros. Just based on the way I'm watching the media talk about this game today, like Verlander's going to come in and be the hero again. It's very possible. He's one of the biggest faces in baseball. But I'm also just wondering if they're overselling that narrative. So, again, I'd just be more patient and selective. Houston doesn't pay anything today. And, there's plenty of more games. So, I'm not crazy about today's baseball game. I think if the Astros do lose today, which honestly would surprise me a little bit just based on how much 31's hit for them this year, I think they'd definitely close it out in Houston. But again, that start time 7:07. Typically, the awkward start times point to the team that will take the game. So, all right, NHL, I scanned the games. Again, I'm just looking for points at the beginning of the season until the teams build up more season points because then it gets a lot easier. And, just some things that jumped out. If the Oilers upset the Islanders would be 1-1-1 at home. If the Islanders lost in overtime, that is. If the Islanders lost in overtime, they'd be 1-1-1. New York's 1-11. I'd keep an eye on this. If you see this game go to overtime and you want to jump in on the real-time betting, New York and 1-11. It's definitely a pattern, so have to wait and see there. This Stars at Capitals game. Capitals, are considered one of the top teams in the NHL this year. Stars still looking for their first win. This seems rather unlikely, but if the Capitals lost in overtime today, they would have 84 points versus the Stars all time. Today leaves 84 days left in the year. So, again, you see this game go to overtime, and, the Stars are a nice payout. Might be worth something considering. None of the other games surprised me today. Out of all these games, didn't really see anything jumping out with the points. So, again, when the season goes on and the season points start to build up, that's when it starts to get a lot easier because teams start picking up points versus the opponents that correspond with the points they can pick up. All right, and that said, let's get to NFL Week 6. Giants at the Patriots. Now that the Patriots are 5-0, I just wonder where they could go from here. Brady looked very beatable in the last Redskins game. Immobile Brady. I think it was the most the NFL allowed Brady to be touched in a long time. Brady got smacked around quite a bit in the last game. But this game is on the day, leaving 82 days left in the year. New England Patriots 82. Jumps out right away. The Patriots have a losing record at home versus the Giants. Of course, the team that beat them in Super Bowl 42 and 46. Now, if the Giants won, they would become 4-2 at the Patriots. So, let me just make that note here. Giants won Super Bowl 42. Could become 4-2 at Patriots. NYC's 42. If the Patriots win, though, they'll be 3-3 at home. New York 33, Massachusetts 33, Tom 33. All 33. Let's see. Brady's next win all time is 243. We've learned that number has a relationship with 54. The Giants don't have any 54 connections. If he lost, he'd get his 25th loss at home all time. If he won, he'd stay on 70 all-time losses. Giants is 25 and 70. So, between now and our next decode, I'm going to go back and look at that preseason game where the Giants beat the Patriots. Just see how it's synced up with this game. Go back and revisit that score. We could even do it right now. Giants, Patriots, preseason. 31-29, August 29th. Let's see. game's on 10-10. That's interesting. It's 42 days after their preseason game. 42 days. Giants won Super Bowl 42. Could become 4-2 with the Patriots. This game is 42 days after preseason game where Giants won 31-29. Okay. Brady's 3-1 versus the Giants in the regular season, 1-1 at home. If he lost at home, he'd be 1-2, kind of like how he wears the number 12. Patriots equals 37, the 12th prime. So, I'm going to do some more research on this one. If Shermer got the win, he'd stay on 37 losses, and Patriots is 37. So, I mean, common sense says Patriots win, but again, rigged games, they're not always common sense based. And I just wonder if it could be another stunner, because it's just like the year the Patriots lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl 42. Everyone thought that the Giants had no chance in that game, right? They had no chance. So the line's at 16.5. The date numerology is 59, the 17th prime. Yeah, gonna have to think about that one more. If the Giants lost, they'd be 2-4, like the reflection of 42. But there is a chance there. There's a chance. Caller?
Hey, Zach, how you doing, sir?
What's up, man?
I got a question for you. New York equals 33?
New York equals 33. Yes, it does.
Well, I thought because if the Giants, what's John record? The John record is 2-3, right? If they upset the Patriots, they'd be 3-3, correct?
They would, and Massachusetts equals 33 as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, you told me you let me some key numbers now. I ain't talk baseball yesterday. Yesterday, 107 was national 107 yesterday. The key number yesterday. Yeah. 107 code.
Yeah, national.
See, on what? Now I can look certain codes now.
Yeah. The more you stick with it, the more you'll remember it.
Okay, that's all I wanted to let you know, Zach. I ain't gonna hold you too long. So keep up good work, Zach.
All right, will do. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, you too, man. All right.
So anyway, this could be an upset. Now that Brady's 5-0, you know, it could be. The over-under's at 42.5. I find it interesting that it's 42 days after that preseason game. I have to go back and look at that riddle for the preseason game. We saw how things lined up for the Giants in that preseason game. It was a tribute to a past Super Bowl as well. So something if Brady's career ended against the Patriots. Or not the Patriots, but the Giants. Okay, the Panthers and the Bucks. What stands out about this game is both teams could be 3-3. England equals 33. So England's 33, the home of modern Freemasonry. Both teams could become 3-3. And of course, Tampa Bay equals 137, the 33rd prime. So on the surface, that looks good for the Bucks. Both teams getting to 3-3 in England. Tampa Bay's got the 137 connection, the 33rd prime. And let's see. Panthers are 11-7 at the Bucks in the regular season, so that is the home record. Even though the game's in London, it's not a true home game. Gonna have to think more about that one. Again, this is just the surface level scan, just looking at what could be. Rivera's one off the mark. Let's see. Arians could get his 53rd win. Carolina's 53. Caller?
What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good, man. So we're on the Giant game? Is that where we're at?
Well, I just moved on to the next one, but you might be on a little delay. Yeah, what do you see in the Giants game?
Okay, no, it's just at 37. I think I called last week, and so I thought the Giants were going to win this game. If you look at their opponents coming up, it kind of syncs up that the Giants can make a little run here. I looked at Daniel Jones. There's a reason why he's starting, because he's 54. That's why Eli Manning sat. Year of Super Bowl 54. Same thing with Rudolph. from the Steelers. He led Oklahoma State all-time wins leaders. He's got 54. That's why probably Roethlisberger went down and he started. And the Giants, they played him in the preseason. I think you brought that up. They won. Usually when teams play each other in the preseason, it usually carries through the regular season as well. And I know that the Patriots have a streak against first-year quarterbacks. Did we get that number?
That's a good one. We got to go back and find that. That could actually be the winning clue right there. So. Yeah,
and 17.5 points. Like, sorry, I believe that's fake. It's like how we were all over the Colts. I'm just jumping on. I don't know what the notes are, what the discussion is, but I think that's a fake line. I think probably like 85 to 90% is probably going to be on the Patriots to cover in the early game. It really looks good for the Giants. Next up-and-coming opponents for them to make a little run. And I think Daniel Jones just started his career 6-3. Right now he's 2-1.
Yeah, yep.
And so that's my take on the football there. And the baseball, you noticed, I don't know if you went over, but the Yankees won 5-1 and 51 is Houston Astros.
Yeah, right. Just talked about that, yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so now I'll be listening, so I won't be repeating anything in case you guys went over it already.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Zach.
That's it. Okay, so yeah, that game has the potential upset narrative on it. I will point this out about the quarterback Jones for the Giants. He's born on the 147th day of the year. 147 is a special number. Freemasons 147. The term master builder equals 147. What master builder is the number 22. And if he lost, he would fall to 2-2. If you watch that movie about Neil Armstrong with Ryan Gosling, outer space equals 147, Freemason 147, conspiracy 147, spaceship 147. If you watch the beginning of that film, just the first 10 minutes, they put 147 on the screen twice. First, it shows him in space at like, I forget what it is, I forget. They put 147 on the screen for however high up in the air he is. And then moments later, they show him drawing notes, and he writes V equals 147. And what V is the 22nd letter. V22 is the master builder number. Master builder equals 147 again. So you can watch how they code out this stuff from the football games to the movies to the TV shows to the news. But that's the one thought about Jones falling to 2-2. So we're going to do more work on this, though. There's definitely an upset narrative here. All right, Panthers and Bucks. On the surface, I'm thinking Kyle Allen's ready for his first loss. The 3-3, plus the fact that Arians can get his 53rd win and Carolina's 53. He'd also become 3-3 with Tampa Bay, like we were just saying. So on the surface, again, there's more to decode here, but my initial thought is this game looks better for the Bucks. And Dave in the chat, Dave with the top chap comment. Dave, I saw your comment. He said he heard a stat on NFL Red Zone that whoever wins the London game always made the playoffs. Dave, what I need to know is, are we talking about the first London game? Which one is it? What's up, Ron? Hello?
What's going on, Zach?
Hey, man.
Good. I had some observations. For the Giants game, the last time they won, it was like a walk-off too. So they won like on the last seconds of the game. I don't know if that can have an impact. Also, did you find out what that Rolex I was telling you about the 1010?
I've been thinking about it ever since you told me. I still haven't figured out what it's about. So.
I feel you. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay, that's all I had. Those two things, and also, I do think 33 is going to be big for this week because week 6 equals 33.
It does. You're right about that too. Yes, it does. Yep.
Yeah, so Stat Kate, good job on the 33s. Key in on your 33s. I already had liked it Tampa Bay for that game, but I think the 33s do play hard this week.
Right, because we've seen when you write out the week, those numbers are playing well. So.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that's all I wanted.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Ron.
All right, no problem.
Take care, man. Yeah, and I'll put that up at the top of the post right now. That should already be there. So I'll write the word. It's been more about the week written out. So in the most pure cipher, week 6 is 33. And that would fit in with the New York upset, too. That's the way If you see the Giants upset the... Well, I guess the 33 can play in two ways in that game. Like we said, if the Patriots won, they'd become 3-3 at home. But yeah, here, let me get my Week 6 up here. Yeah, I doubted how the Bills could improve to 4-1, and Week 5 was 41, and that was the mistake of the week. Okay, so the 33s could hit. If the Giants upset, they'd be 3-3, like New York's 33, like Massachusetts is 33. But again, England's 33, Tampa Bay's 137, the 33rd prime. Both teams could be 3-3 here. And then the stat between the QBs and coaches is that Arians can get his 53rd all-time win and Carolina's 53. Seahawks at Browns. Well, Cleveland can get to 3-3. What do we know about Cleveland in 33? So, Cleveland can improve to 3-3. And I have a feeling this is the kind of team the Browns are going to be this year, right? Because they mind-controlled the populace. It's just so hard for me to believe that Vegas got the majority of money to be put down on a Super Bowl future this offseason was for the Cleveland Browns. And that should show you the way the brains of the masses work. Just believing what the TV tells them. But I have a feeling the Browns are just going to be this team that are unpredictable, except for when you have the lens we do. We've done well with the Browns. The only game we've missed on was Week 1, and I screwed that up because I had the initial read right for the Browns to lose that first game, and then I changed my mind, which it happens. But anyway, we've been able to see the Browns riddles pretty well so far this year. And if the Seahawks lost at the Browns, notice they'd be 4-4, right? That's a Seattle number. So they could become 4-4 at the Browns, Seattle 44. They'd be 12-7 versus the Browns as well. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry's 127. We told you last night it was going to be about the Scottish Rite ritual all night. How many times last night did they tell you that punter's nickname was the Scottish Hammer? Do you think that was an accident that they told you every single time they call him the Scottish Hammer? Every time he took the field to punt, they brought up his nickname and put it on the screen. I was like, don't people see it, man? Don't people see it? They got to make sure you know his name's the Scottish Hammer. And then the Browns end up having 78 net passing yards. Hilarious. Anyway, Cleveland can get to 3-3. Week 6, 33. Cleveland, 33. Seahawks has a 33 connection as well. Seattle, the only team to win the Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. And that should change this season unless the Seahawks win the Super Bowl again, which I'm not counting on. Wilson could also stay on 33 away wins in the regular season. So that jumps out. So the 33s are there in Cleveland's favor. Texans and Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will win this one and improve to 5-1 because Houston Texans is 51. They hosted Super Bowl 51. And the Texans can fall to 3-3. So that's what jumps out there to me. Chiefs can improve to 5-1. Houston Texans equals 51. And then, of course, the 3-3 thing. So 33 could be a monster for us this week. The Redskins and the Dolphins. This will probably be one of the tougher games of the week. We got to wait to see who the Redskins are starting at their quarterback. They have a new coach who doesn't have a record. See if anything... Well, if the Redskins lost, they'd be 4-9, right? Washington does equal 49 and 58, but that 49 is the more pure one, just like how Jay Gruden got fired after his 49th loss. So I'd have to lean that way already. Dolphins to win to make the Redskins 4-9, but we're going to turn over some more stones. I guess the Redskins could get their 6th loss at the Dolphins in Week 6. NFL equals 66. So they get their 6th win all-time too, but again, better to just look at those regular season stats. Callahan's going to get his first coaching job 74 days after his birthday. First game as a head coach, I should say. This game's 33 weeks after Flores' birthday. 231 days is 33 weeks. And again, Week 6, 33. So that could be another sign that maybe he's going to get his first win as a coach. So yeah, we still need to see who the QB is and all that. But looking at the head-to-head, I think that 4-9 is most likely to hit, especially after Jay Gruden fired after 49th loss. Jay Gruden was just fired after 49th loss. Okay. Don't forget NFL equals 49. So does Scottish. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Ninja.
What's up, man?
Hey, sorry I got a little bit late, but I want to make a comment about the baseball. I know you're already out of football. I just want to make one quick point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Justin Verlander, like he's going to pitch today, if you count his career losses and the postseason losses altogether, it's 136. So if he loses today, it's 137. That's Tampa Bay. Just want to make that point.
So you're saying his regular season and postseason losses right now are at 136?
Yeah, his regular season is 129, and he has 7 losses postseason because he's 14-7. So that's 136. So
Yeah.
if he loses today, 137.
Well, that's a great. I was looking at that earlier and I missed that. I'm gonna go back and verify it right now. I believe you, but I'm like, how did I miss that? All right, 129 regular season. You're right. I know his postseason record's 14-7, so you're right. He could get his 137th all-time loss today. Yeah.
I just wanted to make that point for you.
Well, that's a great point. Tampa Bay would be a nice upset today. Good work, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like the way when I turned on and just listened to ESPN and even the Baseball Network, the way they were covering it today, I was like, when the media's selling a narrative this hard, it's usually not a. It's usually like they're trying to dupe the public. Okay, that is. If you wanted to take a stab at Tampa Bay with an upset today, it's possible. It's possible. Like we said, it would go back to Houston, and I would be really shocked if. I would love it. I would love it if the Rays beat Houston, but I just don't see it. But it could happen today. I'm surprised I missed that about Verlander. All right, I'm going to plug that in the notes right now. That has to be said. Verlander could pick up 137th career loss today. Caller?
Hey, what up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, I made a mistake last time. I said the 49ers, they're going to play the Redskins next. No, they'll play the Rams. Then they play the Redskins.
Right.
But back Jay Gruden. This is so funny stuff. So he gets fired, and the news report in the media came out. He was called in at 5:00 in the morning to get fired.
At 5, huh? Yeah, after the 5th loss.
You can't make this up. Oh my God! I don't know. This is so
They love their numbers, man.
What?
They love their numbers.
You got it. Hey, let the man get a good night rest of sleep before he gets fired, at least. Right. I got more stuff. This is some strange stuff, though. I mean, hey, when it comes to this, there is no strange stuff. But the Texans, they actually had also a ring of honor, but it was for their founder, which has passed away, and the Texans won at halftime. Bob McNair, the founder of does that kind of sound familiar? McNair?
Right, like Steve McNair.
The founder of the Texans. And what a coincidence. Who happened to move from Houston to the Tennessee Titans?
Right.
I don't know. The connection, the name, same year, same honor. One goes to the Titans and the other one to the Houston Texans. So, I mean, the Texans. So, but something, I don't know, there's something. Oh, one last thing. So the score was a high-scoring game. For the Texans won 53 to 32. The total score is 85 points, right?
Right.
So I checked the Gematria calculator. Reverse full reduction, Bob McNair is 58. The reverse. So I don't know. But that's all I got.
All right, good observations. Thanks, Izzy.
All
All right, take care, man. See you. Okay, so the Eagles at Vikings, either team could hit 3-3, which makes this one a little bit tougher. But again, the thing that jumps out the most to me is that if the Eagles lose, they'd be 3-8 at Minnesota, and Minnesota in the most pure ciphers 38. You know, last week against the Giants, you had 38 combined points. Minnesota's 38, Giants is 38. We talked about had Cousins not lost the week before, he could have become 38-38 against the Giants, which is what I thought was going to happen prior to him losing the week before. So got to lean towards the 3-8 hitting. Minnesota does have an S in it, though, so 47 is also a value of Minnesota. It's just that 38 plays way more. So I'm leaning just on the surface based on the head-to-head record. We still got to turn over more stones, but through that I'm thinking Vikings do have a good shot to get this W here. Philadelphia would become the team 3-3. PHI, how they're abbreviated on the screen, does equal 33. P plus H plus I is 16 plus 8 plus 9. So, Peterson could get his 33rd win, though. That's something to consider, too, because week 6 is 33. Cousins could get his 38th win. Something else that jumped out is if Cousins lost, he'd be 5-4. Fly Eagles Fly has that 54 connection. So, for these closer ones, I encourage you to see what the women on the TV are predicting. Yesterday, the NFL Live ESPN show and the football pregame, both women took the 49ers yesterday, which I was happy to see. If you're paying attention to what's going on this year in the NFL, all of these shows where they have a panel of men who are mostly former NFL players and they have one woman, and every single show, the women have way better records of predicting the games. And that's not an accident. That's all part of the societal programming of what's going on right now. Part of the scripted mockery. But with regards to the coaches, if Zimmer won, he would stay on 34. Wait a minute. That note's from last week. Whoops. Yeah, he did stay on 34 losses versus the Giants. Yeah, we're gonna have to think more about this one. But that 3-8 is the most standout surface level thing. Minnesota 38. Saints and Jaguars. Teddy Bridgewater could get his first loss since he started starting here. Jaguars could improve to 3-3. If the Saints lost, they'd be 4-3 versus the Jaguars. Jacksonville's 43, Florida's 43, football's 43. Jacksonville does have an S in it, though, so it is also 52. But still, Jacksonville, Florida, football, they're all 43. It's more pure. That's what stands out more. Plus, the Jaguars can get to 3-3 in week 6, where 33 could be the dominant number. And put that right here. Jaguars can improve to 3-3. Week 6 equals 33. So, I think we might see the Saints finally lose a game here. The OU's at 44, Saints is 44, Jacksonville's 43. Whoops. See that game being a defensive battle. All right, the Bengals and the Ravens. Ravens are another team that could fall to 3-3 this week. Bengals are looking for that first win. Games in Maryland. Maryland's 47, the 15th prime. The Bengals won, they'd be 1-5. If they won, they'd be 1-3 away. Baltimore's 41, the 13th prime. The Ravens with a win would be 4-2. And college football this past week, the Cincinnati UCF game, I was wrong about that game. I liked UCF to win because they had a chance to become 5-1 in Cincinnati 51 plays hard in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 51, UCF's 51. We looked ahead. It seemed to make sense with their upcoming games as well. But anyway, UCF lost and they fell to 4-2. And the thing that I know about 42, again, let's just go over this. If you write out the word knowledge, it equals 96 and 42. If you write out the word math, it's 42 as well. And remember, there's a mathematical relationship with 42 and 96. And think about the Freemasons. Freemasons, 96 and 42. The divisors of 42, meaning the numbers that divide into 42, they add up to 96. So becoming 4-2 against Cincinnati, because Cincinnati's 96 as well, there is a connection there. There is a connection there, so the Ravens becoming 4-2 against Cincinnati would make some sense. The Bengals could get their 6th loss in Week 6. And what is it, Baltimore Ravens? Yeah, Baltimore Ravens is 66. Baltimore Ravens is also 96. So, going to have to think more about this one, but the 3-3 upset narrative is there. Bengals equals 24. If you use the rule for S, it's also 33. These teams are tied in the regular season. Bengals are 8-15 at Ravens in regular season. Do remember, though, when you write out 6, it equals 16. We've been doing well with that pairing in fantasy football. So they could get their 16th loss in Week 6. Bengals could get 6th loss of season in Week 6. Cincinnati equals 66. Baltimore Ravens equals 66. But we got some other things to think about here. The game's 156 days after Taylor's birthday, and Cincinnati Bengals is 156. They're looking for that first win. He's looking for that first win as a coach. So that stands out too. Dalton, I don't know what to use for Dalton stats, honestly. I don't know if I should say he has 68 wins or 67. QB Reference does have him at 67, but if you count the one win he has from his career where he came in as the backup, he has 68. And we saw how that game against the Steelers, it was 337 days from his birthday, the 68th prime, and we're thinking like, well, that would be a perfect connection to get the 68th win, but then he does technically have 68 wins if you count games he's played in. So that's something to think about with Dalton. But this, I don't know. In the past, it's been better just to use those QB reference website. So, I'll save that thought for now. If Dalton won, he would be 9-7 versus the Ravens. 97 is the 25th prime. Ravens is 25. Or he could fall to 8-8 in 2019. But, yeah, I'm actually surprised that the Bengals are having this bad of a season. I mean, Dalton's not a bad quarterback. So, they got a shot, becoming 1-3 away in Baltimore. Baltimore 41 the 13th prime. We'll turn over a whole lot more stones. So, Ravens look like they're poised to win the division, but they lose a game like this to the Bengals. Makes everything wide open again, so. Yeah, I'm going to have to think about that one more. All right, so the 49ers and Rams. I was saying that if the 49ers won last night, it would make it easier to pick this week's game because the head-to-head records could make a lot of sense if the Rams won. The Rams could become 4-2. 49ers equals 42. The 49ers could fall to 4-1. LA's 41. But before I get ahead of myself, I should think about how powerful the number 50 is with San Francisco. If San Francisco wins this game, they'll be 5-0, and the Rams could fall to 3-3 in Week 6. That's not out of the question. They'd become 1-2 at home, like Los Angeles is 37, the 12th prime. And does Rams equal 30, actually? Rams does equal 30. The 49ers could become 3-0 away. So if San Francisco got to 5-0, we'd really have to think about that. Again, Super Bowl 54 is the 50th of the modern era. All right. Make that note here. 49ers could become 3-0 away and 5-0 for season, or fall to 4-1. So the things to think about: Rams equals 30, San Francisco equals 50, and LA equals 41. Goff is 3-1 versus the 49ers. If he did win, he would be 4-1. LA's 41. Yeah, I'm going to have to think about this one more. The game's 303 days after Shanahan's birthday. So the head-to-head records would be a representation of numbers that connect to each team if the Rams did win. But again, 49ers, they could be going places this year. Again, we can't throw out any of the scenarios. Some of you guys are really locking in and think the Super Bowl set. I mean, you could end up being right, but I wouldn't sleep on any of these scenarios right now. You have two undefeated teams after Week 5. And remember, Week 5 equals 41 like Super Bowl, right? And those two undefeated teams are in each respective conference. And we've been talking about since early in the season, one of the scenarios could be Patriots and Niners because Tom Brady's from the Bay Area and Jimmy G's his old backup. I even flirted with that idea last season before we decided that Rams and Patriots was the more likely Super Bowl since both teams connected to 53 for Super Bowl 53. Okay, Falcons and Cardinals. This one's going to be tough. If the Falcons lose, they'll be 1-5 for the season. Atlanta's 15. Cardinals could get something going after the death of Bill Bidwell here. You know, Kyler Murray, he's been flashing. So the Falcons and Cardinals are 15-15 against each other, right? Atlanta's 15. And again, that could be a sign that Atlanta's about to fall to 1-5. And I saw on ESPN yesterday, they're saying another NFL coach that could be fired in the coming weeks is Dan Quinn. Now that said, if the Falcons beat the Cardinals, they would be 3-9, and that's a big number in Arizona. Arizona's 39, so that makes that tricky. Let's see. The game's on Quinn's 33rd day of his age. These are the two teams that are on the 33rd parallel. Again, week 6 is 33. Ryan, he's 5-1 versus the Cardinals. All 5 of those wins are in home games. He's 0-1 at the Cardinals. I had to look at that a few times. I was like, how has he played that team 6 times and only one of them at Arizona? But that's the way it is. So he's 0-1 there. And Quinn could get that 33rd loss. Glendale, where the Cardinals play, on the 33rd parallel, plus Glendale's 33. So the game's on Kingsbury's 66th day of his age. If you write out 33, it's 66. I'm gonna have to do more research on this one. It's hard to tell off the surface because just right on the surface, Falcons falling to 1-5 would be symbolic, big number with Atlanta, but becoming 3-9 in Arizona makes a bunch of sense too. So, gonna have to do some more with that one. The Titans at the Broncos. So the Titans' narrative to win is to improve to 3-3. Tennessee equals 137, the 33rd prime. If they won, they'd be 3-1 away. Denver has the 31 connection. So there's that. If the Broncos lost, they'd be 1-5. Tennessee's also 47, the 15th prime. Let's see. The Titans are a team I have not liked, though, this year. Mariota, if he did lose, he'd get his 32nd loss in the regular season. Denver and Broncos are both 32. He could also get his 19th away loss. Denver has the 67 connection as well, the 19th prime. So, make the note here, though. Titans can improve to 3-3. Tennessee equals 137, 33rd prime. Week 6 equals 33. The game's 52 days after Fangio's birthday. Tennessee's 52. If Flacco won, he'd be 3-3 versus the Titans in the regular season. So there's another possible 33. Flacco could get it. And again, we'll turn over a whole lot more stones before game time. So some of these ones that are more iffy, they could stay iffy, or there could be a winning clue there. Cowboys and Jets. Sam Darnold's coming back from his fake illness, right? The mono we never had. So on the surface, if the Cowboys lost, they'd be 3-3. New York's 33. Week 6 is 33. Cowboys equals 33. If the Jets won, they'd be 1-4. Dallas Cowboys equals 43, the 14th prime, like 1-4. Jets are still looking for that first win of the season. The Cowboys are 7-4 at the Jets, and hold on. Jets has the 54 connection. Do they have the 57 connection as well? If you use the rule for S, New York Jets is 57. So, what about that? Cowboys are 5-2 at the Jets in the regular season. Dak's on 18 regular season losses. Jets has the 18 connection. And let's see. Darnold, he's 4-10, 2-5 at home. Samuel is 26. Samuel Darnold. QB's 35. So the thing that goes against the Cowboys that could be the upset narrative is their record. Just falling to 3-3. New York equals 33. Cowboys equals 33. Week 6 equals 33. So that would be the upset. I just wish there was... Gase could also get his 30th regular season loss, and Cowboys is 30 as well. Right here. Jets could improve to 1-4. Dallas Cowboys equals 43, 14th prime. All right. Caller? Hello? Yeah.
Hey, so I sent you a Dak Prescott article a couple days ago. Check your text. What the article states is his overall record versus mediocre teams, like below 500, and then against teams above 500. And it states both records, so that could be a good clue. It was just odd the way it came out.
Does he play poorly against bad teams?
No, he plays better against the worst teams than the bad teams.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back and find that text. All right, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Notice the over-under for that game is at 43. Dallas Cowboys, 43. Okay. The Steelers and the Chargers. Chargers can improve to 3-3. There's 33. There's potential 33s all over the place. I have a feeling there's going to be some people putting together $5 parlays with every 33 scenario. If you do that, think about, before you do that, think about which ones might be the least likely to hit. So, even though we're going through the surface, I think we've made that point, Chargers becoming 3-3 would be symbolic because the Steelers were established in 1933. And the Steelers are probably playing with a quarterback who's never started before this week. If the Steelers lost, there's a good sign too. They'd fall to 22-9, 229 the 50th prime. Steelers equals 50, Pittsburgh equals 50. So that would make a lot of sense for the Steelers to lose just based on that right there. And let's see. I think there's anything with that. It's Tomlin's 213th day of his age. That's the LA area code. Let's see here. Let's see. Rivers could become 4-3 versus the Steelers. Chargers is 43. And I don't see anything else really screaming out, but Chargers can improve. Actually, I think, hold on, I have to verify something here in a second. Hold on. Do the Chargers have a 137 connection? Yeah, they do. Chargers is actually 137, the 33rd prime. So that would make a bunch of sense for them to get to that 3-3 mark. Okay. And then Monday Night Football, where it's typically all about 33. The Lions are on a 2-game winning streak in Green Bay. They've won their last 2 there. Caller?
Jack, I think there's 2 streaks going on with the Patriots besides the first-year quarterback. I believe that they've got a prime-time winning streak, don't they? Or nighttime at home?
The Patriots have a nighttime winning streak at home?
I think so, during prime-time games at home.
Well, I'll get that information. I'm sure they do. I mean, Tom Brady hardly ever loses at home, so.
Yeah, that might be something that I think there's a couple streaks there. And I'm wondering if the Giants were the last team actually to beat them at home during a primetime game.
We'll find out that information. Those are great thoughts. I bet you there is something there.
Got it. Okay. All
right, thanks, man. See you. Okay, so the Lions, 2-1-1 for the season. Remember how that happened? Andy Reid got his 211th win all time. Packers are 4-1 for the season. And let's see. So the Lions' next win versus the Packers is 73. And there's something that could go against Rodgers if he lost was 73. Packers equals 73. The opening game of the year, the woman who sung the song Thursday Night Football, Packers and Bears, her name equaled 73. One of our female followers caught that and texted me. So the Lions' next win is 73. It doesn't have to come today, but I just want you to remember that 73 because I'm going to show you what goes against Rodgers here in a second. This game is on a date with 63 numerology. That's kind of the Aaron Rodgers number. Recall last year when Aaron Rodgers played on Monday Night Football, it was against the 49ers. He got his 63rd win at home all time. You had 63 combined points. That's when I called the NFL league office because at the end they said, "What a Hollywood script." Packers, it was a comeback game. So anyway, this does stand out, the date numerology. 63 date numerology. Aaron Rodgers at home, 63. Is Green Bay Packers 69? Green Bay Packers is 69. Okay, so Stafford could get his 69th win, and that would give him 3 straight in Green Bay. He's won his last 2 there. So he could get his 69th win. However, his next loss is 77. So that's not going to make things as easy because Green Bay's 77. Big number there in Green Bay. Bart Starr died 77 days before the 100-year stamp. And actually, you know what we should be doing for every Packers game? We should be measuring with Bart Starr's death. Was it May 26th? Yeah, it was May 26th. May 26th. The game's October 14th. It's 141 days after his death. 811's the 141st prime number. The Packers' establishment date's 8/11. Again, Bart Starr died 77 days before that. All right. Stafford's 3-5 at the Packers. You got 36 date numerology. Let's see. I think Lions does equal 66. Yeah, it does. Lions is 66. Rodgers could get his 66th loss all time. But what I noticed about Rodgers is he's 13-5 versus the Lions. So if he lost, he'd be 13-6, like 13 the 6th prime. It's week 6, you know. And if he lost, he'd be 7-3 at home. That's what jumped out to me. I was like, he could fall to 7-3 at home, and the Lions could get their 73rd win. So, and this would be the kind of game that would really throw off fans too. They'd be like, what the hell? The Packers just beat Dallas good, and then they lose at home to the Lions? But the Lions actually look pretty formidable this year. Let's not forget the Lions just nearly beat the Chiefs. So, I think there's, just on the surface, there's already some things that look pretty good this week. Of course, we're going to go further on all of them. But I just like at the beginning of the week, I like to just start with this surface level scan and just see how, as we analyze further, how it might change some of our thoughts. But usually what we're seeing here at the beginning of the week before we go deeper is usually right about where it's at. So, caller?
Yeah, a lot of people sleep on them Lions. I called them in the preseason. I said they were going to win the division, and I think they're going to win this game too. If they don't win the game, they're going to cover. They've covered every game so far against the Spurs.
Let me see. How much of an underdog were they? I wasn't even paying attention. Over-under's at 47. They're a 4.5-point underdog. Okay. So, yeah, I could see the upset here.
What's that?
I could see the upset here. I mean, there's a narrative for it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Patricia got shamed last year. You know what happened. And then wasn't there a famous line? He died in August or something like that? I forgot what his name was.
I'll have to go back and look because there's been so many deaths. So.
Yeah, but it pointed for the Lions. They've got a streak. They haven't won anything in like years, 70-something, I think.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to point that out there. You know, they're a very good live sleeper, I think, in that division.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, all right, Zach.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not missing something with the Lions real quick. Detroit. No. Okay, checking out what's going on in the chat. Anthony says there's a lot of 33 this week with the against the spread. The article with Stafford beating Rodgers chugging beer says it all. Is that a recent story? Rodgers, Stafford, chugging beer? Huh. So that was from maybe May 23rd, the 143rd day of the year. Huh. This is an interesting story. Caller? Hello? Caller, you're on. Can you hear me? Alright, maybe a pocket dial. After Aaron Rodgers fumbles chance to chug beer, Matt Stafford shows how it's done. So this was... Okay, this is basketball related during the playoffs. Okay. Huh. It would be funny if a story like that. Okay, I saw the first time it was published was May 23rd. Let's just see how many days it is from that story to the game. 144 days. And a lot of places have it published on May 24th, which was also the 144th day of the year. When you write out 44 as a word, it equals 144. Detroit's 44. So is Packers. Interesting. Caller?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
So I had a question about the baseball game, if I can ask.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I was checking on Baseball Reference, and it says that Justin Verlander in the ALDS is 8-0.
8 Noah.
Yeah, that's what it says. But I'm not. Would it be counting this year's? If he did anything this year in the Division Series, like the game he got in Game 1?
Hey, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. His postseason pitching. ALDS. It does say that. Yeah, he is 8-0. So.
Yeah, and also one other thing I noticed, I don't know if it matters much, but the game is on Fox Sports 1, and when you write that out, it equals 57.
Okay, like the date numerology. Also, like how the Astros could get their 57th loss of the season. I don't know if you heard the caller earlier, but he made a good observation that if Verlander did lose today, he'd get his 137th loss all time, which is true. And Tampa Bay's 137. So.
Yeah, I heard that.
I definitely wouldn't take Houston today because they don't pay anything. The way the media was selling Houston, like it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win today, it just has me thinking like, maybe this does go to a Game 5. It's possible. Tampa Bay'd be a nice payout today, and Verlander has been a nice payout this year because he's given up some huge lines. So.
Yeah, and just like the way that, because they're setting this up like a bullpen game for Tampa Bay, because they're saying they don't have a starter that they can throw out there, so they're just going to string together like a bullpen game.
Which to them is not bad because some people say they have the best bullpen in Major League Baseball. So.
Exactly, but the average person would interpret that as that Houston has the way better starter, so they're going to throw their money on Houston. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people are going to know Tampa Bay has one of the best bullpens.
Well, that's what the media's been preaching all day is, Verlander's about to go put it away, so...
yeah, I just thought that was weird about because the streaks and stuff like that, so I just wanted to get that to you, see what you thought about it.
Yeah, to me the game's... I mean, just the way Houston in 31 has just been boom, 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 boom all year, it's like, if they close it out 3-1 today, I won't be shocked at all, but the only thing that would shock me is if Tampa Bay came back and eliminated Houston, then I would be shocked. I would love to see that, but I wouldn't bet Houston...
They wouldn't specifically clinch anything today, would they?
Who?
Like if they won. If Houston won today, would they clinch anything? Like
they'd advance. They go to the next round. They play the Yankees.
Yeah, but I'm trying to fit as far as the connection to World Series and stuff like that. Like, would today be a significant date for them to win the series? You know what I mean? Like,
well, 57 date numerology. That's the World Series number. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, Zach.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, man. See you. That's another reason I'd like to see the Astros lose today, because that would tell me something too. Again, the media's convinced everybody that no one's beaten the Astros. I mean, the world of baseball thinks the Astros have already won the World Series. I'll probably watch the baseball game tonight in the background while I work on the rest of the stuff. So I'll just see if I hear them throw out any key pieces of information. I'm going to publish these NFL Week 6 notes. Realize they're not finished, but the majority of the information's here. And I'll pair that with the cheat sheet so you can go through and do your own decoding until we convene again. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
I looked through the history of the London game,
Right.
and what I found was out of all the games where the teams have won either the first, second, or third, at least one of those teams made it to the playoffs.
Oh, at least one winner of a London game has made it to the playoffs each year?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, not every because he kind of said it like every whoever wins a game in London makes it to the playoffs. That's how I kind of took it.
Okay,
But
I'll have to go back and look at that.
Okay, cool.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
All right, see you. Okay, I'm going to post this. Should go to the top of the Patreon right now. I guess Week 6 notes. Let's just do it like that. Week 6 notes, and then the NFL cheat sheet's got all the information, all the gematria for all the teams, the schedule, all the information you need to look to verify the numerical synchronicities. So, I saw somebody in the chat ask if I could do the NHL notes again. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about the NHL today. Hold on, let me take this call and then we'll do the NHL notes again. Caller?
So Charlie Morton's 4-0 in elimination game. Did we cover that?
Yeah, I did hear that stat last night after they won.
Okay. And then I had thought the Rays would at least make the playoffs because I pointed out in the beginning that they're the only stadium that they're cashless. So for me, I just wonder if they might win tonight because for the agenda and moving through with a one world currency and so forth, especially being digital, I'm just wondering if they're really going to have them lose at home.
You're saying the Rays?
Yeah, they're the only, they were the test dummy for any sport, and they went totally cashless this year. There was like quite a few articles on it.
You mean you couldn't use cash at the stadium?
Yeah, it was a cashless stadium.
And their manager's name is Kevin Cash?
Yeah, go figure.
That is something else. I did not realize that. That's really weird.
Yeah. I had said it a couple of times. I mean, this is like months ago, obviously. But and also Devil Rays, because I know you're sometimes actually I think you believe in that. They used to be called the Devil Rays. That equals 115 as well. So for me, that was just okay. They're definitely going to make the playoffs, just no matter what they're going to do with it. And then the only flip side to that is obviously they got Charlie Morton for a reason. That's why I thought yesterday they'd win the game. So is it that he gets them their only win, or is it they keep the cashless alive and then they get eliminated in Houston? And then does Morton pitch again Game 5? I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know what the date is.
Yeah, those are good thoughts. Yeah, the Charlie Morton thing yesterday, I was trying to emphasize that the significance of 56. Now he's part of that Astros team in the 56th season that won the World Series, so it could be the only win because again, Houston in 31 has just been so deadly this year. But yeah, just again the way the media's selling today's game like it's already over. I'm just thinking this could be how they get all the gamblers here with this. So
91% of the cash right now is on the Astros.
91%, yeah, that's about what the media's convincing people to do. So that sounds about right.
Yeah. I think the best way to do it, in my opinion, is you make a couple different parlays. Take Houston on the run line. Because if they win, they should cover 2 runs at least. And then take Tampa Bay with a run and a half, or take them on the money line. Can't lose either way. I don't think you can anyway.
That could be it. That's a good strategy there. All right, thanks, Chris.
All right, man.
All right, see you. Okay. Let me review the hockey. So, hockey, all I'm looking for, until we get later in the season when teams build up more points and they start facing opponents and picking up the points against the respective teams, I'm just looking for point totals right now. Something to keep in mind if you're doing real-time betting, if this Oilers-Islanders game goes to overtime, I might be inclined to punch something down on the Oilers in real time, because notice if the Islanders lost in overtime, they'd be 1-1-1. New York's 1-11. So I could see that. Doesn't necessarily have to go that way, but you get your nice New York 111 tribute. If this Stars-Capitals game went to overtime, to me it seems like the Capitals should be a bigger favorite here. But if the Capitals lost in overtime today, they'd have 84 points versus the Stars, and today leaves 84 days left in the year. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I'm sorry to interrupt you about NHL. What do you think about the National and Dodgers tomorrow? You think Dodgers going to win or Dash going to win tomorrow?
I still got to do the work on it. Yeah, I have to decode tomorrow's game. I don't know yet.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I respect that. No problem, sir.
All right, yeah. All right, take care, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, see you. And now that I think about it, is 202 the Washington, D.C. area code? Is that the D.C.? 202 is the Washington, D.C. area code. So if the Capitals lost in overtime, they'd be 2-0-2. Let me add that note in here, too. 202 is Washington, D.C. area code. So again, today leaves 84 days left in the year. If the Capitals lost in overtime, they'd get to 84 points versus the Stars. Stars would get their first win of the season. They'd be 1-3. If Dallas won, they would be 1-3, and we know Dallas equals 13. So possible. If the Capitals won, they'd be 3-0-1, which is kind of like 1-3 in reverse. Capitals are supposed to be one of the top teams this year. So that's why, again, I'd encourage people to be patient and just wait till we're a few weeks deeper into the NHL season. Because then in a whole lot more games, a whole lot more will start lining up with the points. Yeah, I was just surprised, though, that there wasn't more points connections. Because even on days where there's been smaller groups of games, I've been able to find things. But yeah, these are the ones to watch for. Stars could upset the Capitals, and Oilers possibly could upset the Islanders, but not a whole lot there. Here, I'll let me post these NHL notes too on the Patreon page. Caller?
Yeah, Zach. So one more quick point about that baseball game. ALDS, when you write it out, it equals 9, but it also does equal 18. But today is October 1st, so if you drop the 0, it kind of looks like 8-1.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. All right.
So that was it.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Okay. All right, I tucked in those NHL notes here. This guy, Get Lost Tool. All this guy does is post bullshit all day. How do you have your own Patreon pages if all you do is post bullshit on my page all day? Somebody said that they actually subscribed just to see what's there, and they said all he's posting is my pics. He's talking shit about this work all day, and then just posting my pics on his wall. Talk about a piece of shit. I'm sure he's the same guy that's selling my book on Amazon too, that scumbag. Anyway. Okay, so we can leave it there, wrap it up, and tomorrow we'll do a live stream at the regular time in the morning. So make sure we got our information out each day before the games are played. For the caller who asked about tomorrow's baseball game, I'll work on those baseball notes tonight for tomorrow's game. I'll get the notes out for tomorrow's baseball games in a little bit this evening. So look for those notes for tomorrow's baseball games, and also look for clues in today's games. Remember, the Yankees won last night 5-1. Houston Astros equals 51. Big number with that team. Again, that's part of the reason I'll also be shocked if the Yankees don't end up playing the Astros. But the Astros don't necessarily have to advance tonight. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, sorry to bother you, but I want to ask you, since there wasn't really much with the NHL, would you mind looking at the WNBA finals game?
I got to tell you, I've had this ever since I saw the Mystics win with 103 points on the day, leaving 103 days left in the year. I've been thinking they're probably going to win this thing.
Okay. Because I quickly glanced at it. I mean, I didn't really see anything significant. I know you could go through it faster. The only thing was with one of their star players, Elena Deladonna. I noticed it was 33 days to her birthday, or past 33 days from her birthday.
To today?
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw.
Okay, if the Mystics win tonight, they win it all. Huh? It's best of 5, I think, in the WNBA.
Yeah, and it's pretty much a pick 'em. So.
All right, here let's look at it real. I'll do this game real quick and see what I see.
All right, Zach. I'll listen. Thank you.
Thanks, man. All right, let's see. Let me see something here. Yeah, ever since the Mystics, because there was a whole bunch of 103 stuff that day, I was like, even the Mystics won with 103 points on the day, leaving 103 days left in the year. Okay. The thing about if it got evened up tonight, it would be 2-2. That's a big basketball number, right? Basketball's 22. They don't have to win it tonight. They lead the series 2-1. Tonight it's in Connecticut, trying to stay alive. All right, here, let's make a post for this. Oh, but you know what? Today has that 57 date numerology, though, doesn't it? The big championship number? So today would be a good day to win a championship because today has 57 date numerology. So that stands out right away. That's the championship numerology right there, 57. Okay. So that jumps out. It's just like we saw it recently in the NHL. The Blues got their 57th win all-time against the Bruins on a date with 57 numerology to win the Stanley Cup. Whoops. All right, let me see. All right. Mystics is 108 too, so they could win it on October 8th. Fitting day for them to win it. Washington Mystics. Connecticut Sun. Let's see. Women's National Basketball Association. Just want to see if there's anything with the date with that. Okay. So, two things jump out right away in light of the fact that the Mystics can close it out today. Again, it's that you got the championship number 57. Remember, when you write out 57, it equals 131, like championship, like Super Bowl. So the date numerology is there, plus Mystics equals 108, and today's 10/8. So both those things make a lot of sense. 2019 WNBA season. This is the 23rd season. Does either team connect to 23? Neither team's got the 23 connection. Let me run the name of the stadium. Mohegan Sun Arena. Mohegan Sun Arena. Okay. Uncasville. '66, like the name of the arena. Whoops, no, I spelled it wrong. Uncasville, CT. '83, the 23rd prime. Old 322, huh? Women's National Basketball Association's 124, like the location. The season began May 24th. Let's see how many days it is from then to today. Today's 137 days from the start of the season. That stands out because, is it champion? Champion's 137. So you could get your champion today. Today is 137 days after the start of the season. Champion equals 137. Okay. The Sun had 23 wins, in the 23rd WNBA season. The Mystics had 26. I'm sure these stats are just for the regular season, though. They probably haven't been updating. But again, this is right here is the most positive sign, just that the championship can end on this date with the 57 connection. Caller? Yeah?
Got a nugget for you. It's the hockey. Penguins Jets. Penguins have won 18 in a row at home versus the Winnipeg Jets. And one of their star players is not playing, and they're heavy favorite. Sounds like a trap to me.
Hockey equals 67, the 19th prime.
That 18 number again.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that. I just have never documented it myself. I'm just thinking it's 2019. Hockey, 67, the 19th prime. So the Penguins could win their 19th in a row?
At home versus the Winnipeg Jets.
Pittsburgh has the 67 connection as well. Pittsburgh also equals 67, the 19th prime.
Okay. Got it.
So.
Okay, I just figured I'd let you know there. That's the biggest streak going so far today.
Well, I mean, it is 2019, and again, how it connects to hockey and the year and the location, so I'd be inclined to think it would extend to that.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, Bob.
All right, thanks. All right, but yeah, so we got championship date. We got the right date for the Mystics to win it. We got 137 days from the start of the season. So all that looks pretty good for a good reason to close it out today. Let's find out who the coaches of these teams are. See how it syncs up with their birthdays. Let's see here. Mike Thibault, September 28th. So today's 10 days after his birthday, his 11th day of his age. He just turned 69. Oh, look at that. Mike Thibault, 131, to go with the date numerology. Okay. So that's interesting. And then Kurt Miller. I thought the WNBA would have more female coaches. Kurt Miller, October 6th. Today's 2 days after his birthday. Kurt Miller. Miller's 33. What in the world? Look at their names, the two coaches. What in the world? It's almost no different. You see that? Mike Thibault, Kurt Miller. Look at that. Huh, that's funny. So it could end today, and it would connect with both coaches. right. Kurt Miller is the one that's got the 67. All I could say, if the only devil's advocate narrative I can come up with right now is the next game's 2 days from now, which will be 139 days after the start of the season. Kurt Miller is 139. He's got the 67 connection, the 19th prime, but knowing what I know about 57 and championships, this looks like the right day to close it out. So Washington equals 52. Washington would be the winner if they won today. If there was a game 5, it would be 139 days after the start of this season. Let me make a note about that. Sun had 23 wins, 23rd WNBA season. And but yeah, I can't fade the 57. I mean, it just comes up in all the sports again and again, championships in connection to 57. So this could be one more documentation of 57 in a championship concluding on this day. And I'd be a fool to pass that up because it hits so much. And again, Mystics 108, today's 10/8, so I think that's the best clue on the board. Also 137 days after the start of the season, champion 137. Oh, and by the way, Washington, D.C. is 137 too, if you want to add to that list. So all right, yeah, so I'm leaning towards the Mystics closing it out today. The 57 and the 108 on 10/8. Okay. Color?
Yeah, also Mohegan Sun Arena in single reduction 75, the reflection of 57.
Okay.
And Uncasville, Connecticut is also 75, the reflection of 57.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good observation.
Yeah, so I like Washington today, though.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, welcome. See you. Okay. That was a good request, I think. So I'll post these notes up here too real quick. Okie dokie. And I guess here just to read about the game. Somebody, let me see, what's game 4 equal? Game 4. Well, I just had one more devil's advocate type thought. If it did go to game 5, the series would end up being 2-3 for somebody in the 23rd WNBA season. I'm still having trouble getting past the 57 number though. Every year it's sports championships in 57. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
I want to talk about basketball quick. Like, what do you think is going on with the Houston Rockets in China? I just feel like it's something there. I just can't figure it out.
The whole story started on the day leaving 85 days left in the year. Basketball's 85. It also started 25 days after Yao Ming's birthday, and Ming equals 25. So,
What do you think the riddle is there? I I don't think usually go out there. Houston probably have a good year, but I don't think they go win the championship. Probably got something to do with the basketball season this year with China or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it brings attention to the NBA because the NBA season is about to get started. I'm sure there is a greater riddle there with the rest of the season. I have to think about that, but yeah, no doubt about it. It came on the day leaving 85 days left in the year because that's the big basketball number. So
it just feels like it's strange that China would do this now. They've been dealing with the NBA for the past 20-some years, and now all of a sudden it'd be a problem or something. Wow, they got the thing going on in Hong Kong. Come on.
Well, that's just how it is, right? It's just all about bringing attention. I mean, it's New World Order. It's not like they really have a problem. It's just about bringing attention to their shenanigans. So.
And where do Nike make all these sneakers at? China. Where do all the Jordans come from? China.
Right.
And this is the B?
Right.
It don't make no sense.
Well, controversy sells. Again, it brings more attention. Maybe more people are even, so. Yeah.
But probably the next couple of weeks, we probably find out what this is about, right? Probably the next couple of weeks.
Right.
So they don't know what the 18th or 19th week of this protest, right?
There's a protest on the 18th or 19th?
No, the Hong Kong protest. They was on the 18th week last week. This is the 19th week going on, the protest in Hong Kong.
Well, I don't know where they're getting those. I did see that they reported some numbers like that. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense because it was already that many weeks, X weeks ago. Because, I mean, it was like at 19 weeks when Tisha B'Av happened, so. Tisha B'Av, the Hong Kong incident on August 11th was the 134th day of the protest. So that's 19 weeks in a day right there.
So there's most of this riddle that we don't know yet. We got to wait a couple more weeks to find out what this riddle got to do with the basketball season.
Is there any other Chinese players in the league right now?
I don't think so.
Jeremy Lin, I don't know if he's still in the league.
He's not in the league anymore.
Okay.
The only person in the league is this Japanese dude from Gonzaga. He played for the Washington Wizards. He's from Japan. That's the only Asian person I know right now in the NBA right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll think about it some more. I know why it started the day it did. I should probably look at the tweet that got the whole thing started. How many days that was from the guy's birthday? There could be something there. So, but yeah, I just saw why it came on that day and how it was synced up with Yao Ming. I documented that on my blog right away. So.
Okay. I was just curious about this story because there's something strange about this story.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, then.
All right, man. Appreciate it. See you.
Okay.
So look at this player for the Mystics. It is 33 days after her birthday. Again, it's 137 days after the start of the season, which is the 33rd prime. Let's see. Let's see what her name equals. 127, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, like Scottish is 103, like the 103-point game they had. She was on when the Mystics, here, I think it's on my blog, when the Mystics scored 103, she was the picture. There she is right there. That was September 19th. So that was 19 days ago. So they can close it out 19 days later, the 2019 season. All right. She goes by this name. All right. Anyway, it is 33 days after her birthday. To factor in with that whole 137 ritual. What was her last name? Her last name is 83, the 23rd prime. This is the 23rd WNBA season. So maybe she's the key component. And is WNBA 23? Yeah, WNBA is 23 as well. 68 like basketball. All right, you guys, let's wrap it up there. All the notes are on the front wall. We'll do a live stream tomorrow morning. Be back at the regular time. And I will get out those baseball notes tonight, so look for that. Post them up on the Patreon. For the truck driver out in D.C. who wanted tomorrow's Dodgers-Nationals game, I'll get it out for him and everybody else. All right, have a great rest of your day. Until next time, Truth Seeker.